Welcome back to Future Port Youth. It is part 4, Future of Art and Design. This part is super exciting. For any of my creatives in the room, I think you're really going to like this. Or if you're interested in VR, because VR is something that's really exciting. It's really taken off right now, and we have the best genius for it, who I was talking to last night, and I was just getting so excited, blown away. So, we've got no interactive session just yet. We'll get onto that later. So we're just going to start off right away with our next speaker, Enea LeFons. Enea started his digital journey in 1999 at different forefronts: 3D interaction, VR, human-computer interfaces and design. Currently focuses on design, architecture and music, and he's quite well known. He's well known for his project #30 days in VR, where you guessed it, he spent 30 days in VR, which is absolutely mad. And he's gonna come, and not in a bad way, like that's crazy, in a good way. He claimed to have come to appreciate real reality more than ever, even more than before. He brings useful knowledge and beautiful design to empower people for whatever the future holds. Please welcome Enea LeFons. Take it away.
One, two, three. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. I'm Enea LeFons, the cybernaut from 30 Days in VR. I'm a full-stack virtual reality developer, and I'm super happy to be with you so that I can share with all these bright faces some of the crazy things that I've been doing in the last years. Okay, so that's it. I started from the second slide. Beautiful start. So, today we are talking about the main topic of my line of work, that is dematerialization. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept, but basically it's the replacement of physical processes and physical products with virtual products. To give you an idea, do you remember when you were writing still with a pen, pen and paper? We managed to get to email. This is how the materialization works. The materialization is exceedingly interesting because it allows us to save immense amount of materials, cut down pollution incredibly, and also allows us to change processes real fast. So when everything is virtual, we can just change some parts of the code and procedure, and everything gets rolled out much better than paper processes and physical processes. Okay, and so generally I get invited to conferences because of the 30 Days in VR, which is an experiment that I did in 2018. I haven't been doing conferences for quite a long time because I didn't want to talk about it anymore, but this project is so great and the people behind it are so amazing, and so I just decided to talk about this again, but from a different point of view. Okay, so what did I do during 30 Days in VR? I spent most of my time creating models, meditating in VR, sleeping in VR, and eating in VR. But thankfully, I was in Italy, so the food was really good. And so 30 days, well-fed, good. Okay, and so why did I do it? Because I started in the late 90s with virtual reality, and I saw that with 2015, with the new technologies coming in, pretty much the same imaginary and pretty much the same use cases were the same. So nothing changed. And so I decided to try to reboot VR around some basic concepts such as health, not killing myself and trying to be healthy during the experiment, connectivity, not isolating myself, but trying to use virtual reality to reach out to people that were not in the room, productivity, so instead of playing video games in VR or watching movies in VR, I spent all my time designing and developing, and research and development. So I was given in 2018 some headsets that were not ready for market. And during the 30 days, we managed to fix everything. This was the schedule, pretty much. It's written in Chinese because I did it with HTC China as sponsors. And this was the first proposal from potential sponsors. I was supposed to spend 30 days inside a wonderful green cube. Nice. And so basically, like when they proposed me this, I thought about it a little bit and I was like, maybe I'm doing something else. And so basically I sold to the sponsor the concept of reconstructing a whole apartment in 3D using sensors to track all the different elements that I could move around the room so that I wouldn't bounce into things. And I decided to go about and live inside this room for 30 days. How did we bring the products in virtual reality? So this is a piece of history, because in the future, in 5 years, you're not going to work like that, I hope. So we started with a process called photogrammetry. We took a lot of pictures of everything that was in the room, and then we cleaned it up, optimized it, so that I could bring it in VR, as you can see. So this is a painstaking, super long process, and I was helped by fantastic people like Gabriele Simonetta and other people in the team that helped me fixing the models before I could optimize them and use them. Chair, bang, chair in, and so on and so forth. And we repeated this process for everything in the room. Okay, and so why did we do this? This is a photo of the place where I was, and this is the virtual reproduction. So basically, I would walk around with my VR headset in pretty much a reproduction of the physical room, but with interesting features, such as we covered a huge mirror because it was interfering with virtual reality, and I transformed it into a portal into different dimensions and 3D spaces. Okay, so more nerdiness. This was one of my best inventions. So basically I kept, during the 30 days of pre-production, I kept bumping into all the chairs because they were not tracked in VR. And so basically I decided to use a Vive tracker, stuck it on a chair, and so whenever I would move a chair, it would move also in VR with me, thanks to this. Did you like the tape installation? Really cool. All the chair couldn't drill it. Okay, and what did I do? You know, apart from sleeping, eating pasta, and doing this stuff. This is like, for example, instead of feeling like restricted, closed in a room, at a certain point I decided to go on Mars and to find the water on Mars. So I decided to create a lake on Mars. And then I started building a city on Mars. It took me 3-4 days, and this is a little bit of work in progress, you know. And here you can see what I was seeing. This is shot from my point of view. Here I'm using Unreal Engine, which is a software that you can use to manipulate objects and compose them together. And this is a prototype of a house for Mars. With virtual wine. I couldn't drink during the 30 days, so virtually I could. Okay, so all of this is online. You can keep on looking at it, but yeah, interesting. Next. Okay, so 30 Days in VR was not only an experiment that terminated with a physical endurance test and testing machines. I used it to prototype some ideas and some applications that I later released. So all of this is available on different platforms. You can go on, download it. One of the most interesting things is the 3D model collection. So all the 3D models that you have seen, I released them for free, and you can download them. I will give you the link later so that you can experience and do your first experiments building the metaverse with good quality stuff. Okay, and this is one, okay, so let's go back. No. Okay, another thing that I'm really proud of is mind machine and bit reality. So one of the main problems that we had with 30 Days in VR is that I couldn't see through. I didn't have a pass-through, so I couldn't see through. I needed to rebuild the 3D world, otherwise, I wouldn't be able to see anything. And so I decided to develop a photic stimulation and cyber sound vision machine. But I can hear the sound. Can we have sound on this? No. Yeah. Okay, so this is very interesting because we hacked the VR headset so that I would use the cameras, the see-through cameras, so that I could actually see the world around. But these cameras were black and white, so I would see like a broken cyborg android. And so I decided to filter everything with an audio reactive filter, and so this application allows you to see music. The colors pump and change with the audio reactions. But my favorite project out of the 30 days in VR is a UXR zone federated spaces. So basically, we are gonna see it later. I created like a VR art gallery, a club where people can meet, a personal atelier where people can sculpt and model their own 3D pieces of Metaverse. And it's all free online. Like Metaverse, I said it, okay? This is, this is a hot topic, hard word, overused, and we are gonna talk about it. It's very interesting for me because I've been in the field since 1999. I already knew what it was, and so, with my friends, we were always talking about it, when is it coming, are we building it or not? And then and it all started in '92 with Snow Crash. It's a beautiful book, very interesting to read, that popularized the term Metaverse. And then all the way to Ready Player One with Ernest Cline that decided to take the Metaverse, call it Oasis, and probably you saw the movie. Okay, and so what happened in our field? Before this huge revolution, our profession had so many terms, so many different disciplines. It was so complicated, And then at a certain point, the term Metaverse came in, and finally, everything is simple. Like, basically now everything is Metaverse, also stuff that, also potato is Metaverse, everything. Okay, and amazing, amazing. And it happened so naturally. It all happened so naturally. Like, basically, I started here, talking about the Metaverse, and then basically no one knew what we were doing, and nobody cared, and we were working between nerds. And then at a certain point, wow, boom, everything is Metaverse. What happened? I don't know, a miracle, aliens that brought new technology to planet Earth. No, one of the biggest companies of the world decided to try to appropriate a vertical and call, to take the Metaverse. And this was the effect on public perception. Now people know what the Metaverse is, even if they don't know it. And so, what do we know about the Metaverse from 2022 mainstream press? Like everything. So if we follow the press, we know that it's the next generation of the internet. Nothing is ever gonna be the same. It's a 45, 99, $399 billion. Everyone is gonna get rich. It's gonna change everything. And there are so many metaverses around, like Roblox, video games, and actually the Metaverse is there. There are so many, but maybe it's coming into 5 to 10 years, maybe, I don't know. So this is what I learned from the different, mainstream press articles. And then, since it was too complicated for me, I decided to go to the people, to the source, to the people that are gonna use the Metaverse. And since I have so many friends that already have kids, I went to a 7-year-old group of kids that were playing, and I asked them, what do can you tell me what the metaverse is? And they basically answered, yeah, it's like an online RPG where you can also work, but you can also play different games, and you can make money and get items. And I was like, better than mainstream press, pretty accurate, bit accurate. And so in order to make everything more clear, I decided to start by exclusion. And also, thanks to that talk, I decided to try to identify what the metaverse is not. So it is not a video game, and it is not, absolutely not, operated, built, curated by a single corporation. It's not in the definition of the metaverse. And so, after finding out what does the press know about the metaverse, what does the 7-year-old know about the metaverse, I decided to go to my colleagues, and we tried to agree, after fighting on forums like forever, on like a set of 7 things that a metaverse is. So the metaverse is a digital world that is online, is digitally rendered, so is synthesized, is globally synchronous. So that means, and this is very important, that means that when you do something in the metaverse, if another person comes in your room, he will see the changes that you made globally. Multi-purpose, so that means that you can work, you can play, you can communicate. Interoperable, that means that if you have different platforms, you should be able to bring your avatar, your assets, and everything that you have from one platform to the other seamlessly. Decentralized, which means that if we decide to live in the metaverse, we are going to bring together with us our identity, albeit virtually, our 3D models, our books, everything that we buy. And so we want it decentralized, because if everything that we own is managed and handled by a single company that can decide to revoke access to our stuff anytime, it's not ideal, so we want it decentralized. And then we want to know what's going on inside of it, and so we want it open source. So this fits with the description of the metaverse that you find in the book that invented the term metaverse. And so we are working towards that. Okay, so this is also very interesting. In order to try to understand the relevance of the metaverse versus proto-metaverses that people use, such as Fortnite and Roblox, I decided to check Google searches, and you can see that Fortnite and Roblox, which pose basically the base of the interaction design of the metaverse, they are very similar to what the metaverse could be. They are much more popular than the metaverse itself at the moment. Then basically, I'm gonna go very, very fast through it because it's a little bit technical, but no, actually, let's skip it. Let's skip it. And so we have 3 main components to create the metaverse, because guess what? After I said this, the metaverse at the moment, if we want to follow the definition, the 7 qualities definition, does not exist. We don't have a decentralized, interoperable virtual space, multifunctional, where everything can be done. And so, in order to build the metaverse, we need 3 things. We need a strong communication infrastructure, because when you talk, share models, and do things in a 3D space, you consume an immense amount of data. So where does this data go? Who pays this bandwidth? This has to be solved. People, because metaverse is about social connections and social presence. So if you enter metaverse spaces and no one is there, or maybe in the future AI bots are going to be there, the metaverse experience is not going to be very much what it has promised to be. So we need people that animate and live and create in the metaverse. And we need also 3D assets, people that create 3D worlds, textures, things. Okay. And there's going to be a whole economy around it. And so basically I started focusing with my startup and some other groups of research on how we can start to create like a virtual economy around the metaverse. And we started focusing on the avatars, for example. These are some avatars from our platform, UXR Zone, and all of these avatars are generated from artificial intelligence, which is really interesting. It's the first experiment that we did, where we created a basic style, and then we asked our users to just add some extra words and describe how would they want to look. And then, in a few seconds, their avatars appeared. We have a lot of Buddhist people in our in our metaverse, so a lot of Buddhas, thankfully. Okay, more avatars. And all these avatars were released during the New York Fashion Week a couple of weeks ago, and it was a big success. Now, a couple of thousands of people are using these avatars on a daily basis. This is interesting. Okay, and with the metaverse economy, we don't have only avatars with everything that comes along, but we also have spaces, experiences, and all sorts of stuff that we can create to engage people in virtual worlds. So, let's go very fast. In 2020, something happened. Everyone got locked down. My platform was super niche, and immediately we got 10 times the users, because people wanted to connect, enjoy music, and party. And so we started with Algorithmi, that is a project based in Turin. We started inviting different artists that express the metaverse and the digital aesthetics in a very new way. What you're seeing now, it's live coding. It's music made via code. And this is Sam Aaron, the inventor of this programming language that is called Sonic Pi. But I will skip it now. And so we started doing parties in this virtual space where different people from all over the world, while they were totally locked down, closed in their studios, started streaming themselves, connecting with their fans, talking with people, and this was really a powerful experience. So much so that I forgot asking people for money, and I spent my own money. But it was great. I met a lot of interesting people. It was so successful that the European Community Resident Advisor and different research groups decided to feature us in different researches on how to reboot nightlife during lockdown. So, very interesting. Okay, and this shows a little bit, okay, so I operate a niche, very small platform. So I know that these numbers are not, like the millions and, but this shows a little bit what happened with 2020. So we were super niche, and we had about 20, 30 daily active users, and then 2020 hit, and immediately we skyrocketed to 500. And then people started to learn in 2020 how to build. And so users are down because now people are not locked down anymore and they can go out. But creators are going up. We never had so many creators. This is great. And many of these creators are users that got converted, that came for clubbing and partying and stayed for creating art, which is great. This is a museum that we created. It's called The Dome, and we had more than 60 exhibitions inside of it. You can look at all the different things that all the different artists created throughout these days. We opened an academy where we trained more than 40 people in creating pieces of the metaverse, and also this was very successful. And so there is a space, and there are jobs, and there are opportunities in the metaverse now. At the moment, I'm not a millionaire, a trillionaire. I'm not even aiming for that, sincerely, because I'm really passionate about this technology with its ability to interconnect people, and I'm super passionate about finding, together with the people in the UXR, new ways to explore the metaverse. So, this is a preview. Lower body. This is a preview of UXR Zone version 4. And so basically you can see that you can travel through spaces in a dematerialized way. So our avatars are not anymore, they don't look anymore like cartoons. We don't have gravity. We don't try to replicate the world. We are trying to create like a totally radical, different aesthetic that liberates you from gravity and allows you to explore space in a different way. Okay, so almost done. If you're interested in one of the cool things about the metaverse is that, you know, looks like now people are gonna go and build it. You know, for the best or the worst, it's gonna happen. So by 2030, it's gonna be a thing and it's gonna be a market. If you start now, you can already position yourself in a pretty strong way, and also you are gonna be able to know how it works. And so how can you learn? How can you start building the metaverse now? I would suggest that you save these links. There is Mozilla Hubs with its editor, Spoke, that is super easy to use, and I really suggest you to try it out. There's Blender, which is a 3D software that allows you to do all sorts of stuff from 3D modeling to animation. And then we have engines such as Unreal Engine and Unity that are used to create experiences. Okay, so a little bit of QR codes. There you go. You can find them online. So with this, you can go and get some free spaces to build however you want. They are yours for free. This is a great blog from a great journalist where you can find all the information in real time about all the innovations that you need to know. And these are free 3D models that I decided to gift for Futureport Prague. So you can build already your rooms, places in the metaverse. And there you go. I finished. Thank you.